Part 19. Prayer. It transcends time, religion, nationality, and circumstance. Many see it as miraculous, a prayer being answered somehow saving a person's life. Many see it as coincidental, by taking action for the things we desire, our lives naturally fall into place, without God's help at all. From the oldest history books in time, people have prayed to someone or something. Both the Bible and real-life experiences show that God does indeed answer prayers. But this matters little to the individual person if they have never experienced it themselves. So the question we should ask is not, does God answer our prayers? But rather, is God listening to mine? Before we begin, one thing must be made clear. God is kind and generous, but He is not a genie. You cannot summon Him to grant your wishes. If your grandmother is 110 years old, praying she lives to 111 is not realistic. If a person has cancer ravaging their body, praying to God it goes away isn't going to happen. If someone in your life has stolen from you, praying they get hit by a car is not going to happen. And we should be thankful for this. Otherwise, you might have to fear what others could ask God to do to you. Secondly, God does not answer requests that go against His requirements, which are in the Bible, such as at 1 John 5 verse 14. For example, the Bible requires that we avoid being greedy. Gambling promotes greed. See 1 Corinthians 6 verses 9 and 10. So, God will not answer your prayer to win the lottery. Whether God will answer us when we pray is, according to the Scriptures, determined by certain requirements. 1. Many say that God only listens to people of a certain race, nationality, people, or color. Is this Bible-based? Absolutely not. At Acts 10 verses 34 and 35 it says that, "Then Peter began to speak, I now realize how true it is that God does not show favoritism, but accepts from every nation the one who fears Him and does what is right." 2. Some say for our prayers to be heard, we must be kneeling or prostrated over with our hands pressed together. Is this Bible-based? No. In the Bible at 1 Chronicles 17 verse 16, Nehemiah 8 verse 6, Daniel 6 verse 10 and Mark 11 verse 25, people have prayed kneeling, sitting, standing up or prostrated down. Your position won't matter as long as you're sincere. God also answers prayers made to Him in silence, or in your head. You don't always have to pray aloud. 3. Some say you must pray with, or to, objects, such as rosary beads, prayer wheels, candles or statues for God to listen. Is this Bible-based? No. In fact, God said through the prophet Isaiah at Isaiah 42 verse 8 at that, "My glory will I not give to another, either my praise to graven images." Acts 17 verse 29 tells us, "Therefore since we are God's offspring, we should not think that the divine being is like gold or silver or stone, an image made by human design and skill." Praying with these is not acceptable to God. 4. You must remember that there are many false gods in the world today. You want to pray to the true God, the Father of Jesus Christ and Deliverer of the Christian Bible. We shouldn't be vague, always pray to God specifically using His personal name. In English, this is Jehovah God, or in Hebrew Yahweh, which is found at Psalm 83 verse 18. If your natural language is not English or Hebrew, it's a great idea to find the translation of God's name in your mother language. 5. Some assume we should pray like a mantra, or we must stick to something similar to the Lord's Prayer at Matthew 6 verses 9 to 13, repeating His words because He told us to. In His model prayer, however, Jesus did not say, "You must pray then this prayer." Rather, He said, "You must pray then this way." Notice He first prays for God's kingdom to come, and God's will to be done. He is telling us we should first pray for things related to our God and our relationship with Him, before asking for trivial things. It says at Matthew 6 verse 7, when praying, "Do not say the same things over and over again as the people of the nations do, for they imagine they will get a hearing for their use of many words." 6. But what of personal matters, such as asking God to guide us in what we should do? These are absolutely acceptable, as the psalmist prayed at Psalm 119 verses 33 and 34, "To give me understanding, that I may observe your law and that I may keep it with the whole heart." And what about prayers for protection from bad people and things? Jesus prayed in verse 13 of the Lord's Prayer, "And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one." This is acceptable, but this does not mean praying to God will be a figurative suit of armor against all bad. We must work in harmony of what God requires of us, in order for Him to protect us. If it risks our lives to, for example, drink heavily, do drugs, or jump off a cliff, having faith will not automatically save us. At James 2 verse 26 it says, "As the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without deeds is dead." So finally, after learning all of these facts and being sure we pray and worship God in the right way, there is no reason that God should not listen to your prayers. After all, at 1 Peter 5 verse 7 it tells us to throw all your anxiety upon Him, because He cares for you. Of course, in any relationship, we must put in the work before we expect to gain results. Do your best to get to know God in a personal way. He is the highest being in the universe, but is also our Father who is incredibly humble, kind, and forgiving. He listens to even the smallest of prayers that are made in our hearts, when words can't even begin to describe what we need. He can be closer to you than family, and will never betray you. If you wish to draw close to Him, pray and ask for Him to guide you to where to find Him. Do your research, and He might just find you. God only draws people to Him who are rational, logical, and have potential to learn the truth about Him. He doesn't want a senseless, blind follower. He wants us to prove to ourselves that He exists. So for the final part in this current series, it begs the question, how do we know which religion is right? See Part 20 for the finale.